enregister. I say hello. Hello,
Hey,
Alicia.
good morning. It's still morning around here in the south, in the southern
Oh,
hemisphere.
good. We are having a half sunny afternoon, and I'm very happy to greet everybody. And since we had two health talks yet, we have had some active questions, active listeners who questioned. So we make a little session about questions and answers. We try to give our opinions, our understanding of what has been asked right now.
I do have some also, yes. So shall I start, Lina?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, so one of our listeners asked or mentioned that she is already tired when she gets up in the morning. And well, this is because here it's autumn. So anything that you would like to mention about that? And perhaps make it applicable also to springtime?
Yeah. In fact, you are right. It's good to include springtime because when you like and love to get up in the morning, then it's like a springtime quality, you know. And when you have been used to get up with a with a lightness and with some joy, then you will bring this to summer and you will bring it to autumn. This is my perspective on it. And if you want to get easier into this morning atmosphere, into the so important start of the new day, you have to watch the evening. It is the night and the evening in the day before the day in which you want to get up fresh. So what is very, very classical, and most of you know this, perhaps to adapt it is another point, that you better eat 3 hours before you go to bed, at least. And what you select to eat is also has a point, because if you have very heavy proteins, like animal proteins, for example, or fried food. If you do this in general in the evening, even though you would eat early, you have a very long digestion time of this type of food. So it's very interesting in the evening to think of lightness, so that you feel, and you don't want to have an evening where you fall asleep right away after your meal. So it helps you to have a light, vegetable oriented evening meal, and perhaps a soup or a broth or some cereals that are left over, and put together perhaps into the soup. I mostly of the time I would suggest, we in Germany we eat a lot of bread. I would suggest one slice of bread with a soup. This can go very well together. So for an evening meal, I think when you do this in general, it is not an instant change, but it is little by little. It changes your getting up in the morning. I see this when I'm giving the detox glow. After 2 3 days, people say they're more awake and they move easier. Yeah, this is really an effect that shows up. So try, and yeah. And if you have to eat late, eat just very, very lightly and chew super well. That's why
Yeah.
I bring to this point.
Okay. Yeah. About the getting up tired, yes, it involves, it's not just going to the doctor and getting a pill and or to wake you up. It has to be a holistic view, doesn't it? Including
Yeah.
what happened the previous evening. And here in autumn, actually, if you could get up a bit or yeah, later, it helps preserve the energy and the warmth not start that early, but it is better to, if you want to flow better with the season, not go against the season, to start a bit later to preserve your energy, because it's starting to the hibernation time actually.
Yeah.
And I can feel it. I'm wearing this poncho, and yesterday, even though it's autumn, yeah, still yesterday it was very, very cold, and I had some difficulty coping. So I had to use a hot water bottle. I had to do moxibustion. That, by the way, I was asked to show what moxibustion is. This is one of the, there are many ways to apply moxibustion, but this is used, yeah, quite simple, because you just light it and apply it on the points. I mean, clearly there, perhaps you need to talk to your therapist to know which points are good for you. But I was starting with cystitis because of this sudden cold. So it was very easy. It was a lifesaver doing moxibustion on my uh, meridian of the governing vessel. On the line of the pubic hair in the middle, there is a point there for cystitis. And I heated this point. I mean, it's not on the skin that you use it, but hitting the point like 2 centimeters away from the skin until you feel the warmth. And if needed, feel that little pricking of the needle there, going there. And that stimulation on the bladder really, after I did it intuitively, I wasn't counting, but when I felt that the region was very warm, actively warm, I went to sleep, and the next day, nothing. So it's gone. So
So
that
you
is a
are
very practical tip on
a good
how this
example.
knowledge works also.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have been curing yourself over some hours, and in the morning you went up the way you liked it.
Yes,
Yeah.
without any signs of
Yeah.
cystitis. Yeah.
I brought the question along that I fetched, that a person was saying, how come that I feel always heavy when I eat cereals, macrobiotically prepared cereals? And I was wondering what you answer to this, what kind of answer you have.
Okay, so I wonder why, because cereals shouldn't be a painful thing to eat. We are designed to eat cereals. That's why we have so many molars given by Mother Nature. But perhaps is this person celiac? What grain, what cereal did that person eat, even if it is macrobiotically prepared? Maybe there is a problem with gluten. But if it was brown rice, which is gluten free, for instance, there shouldn't be any problem. Um, Sometimes the body is not used to, and the person could feel some discomfort. But once the body is cleansed after a detox, because I would suggest that people start with a detox, really, a fed in the sense of using also grains, and brown rice is the best because it's easily digestible, but you have to chew. Yes, you do have to chew. So it's a slow food. It's time for you to reclaim that time for your eating, for yourself, for not reading, because many times people want to do two things at the same time, and I'm eating and at the same time I'm reading. No, you can't use your eyes, because if you're using your eyes while you're eating, you're activating the liver. Yeah, the liver is connected to the eyes, and so the liver has a negative effect on the stomach. So you want the stomach to be activated for digestion, for digesting the food. So yeah, that's a good time for talking. Um, yeah, for sharing things, like in the past, around the table, people would share how has the morning been for lunchtime, or in the evening, how how has the day been. So it's a good moment for sharing, talking, but not reading or getting active with the eyes, because that can interfere with the digestion. So I would say to this person that perhaps this needs to be addressed in a consultation, one to one, because we should ask more questions and see what happens there.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And I think also, Alicia, that the amount of water used in the cooking process can be changed. I do a lot of variations. Though if people find something is too heavy, then you have to have a lighter preparation,
yeah,
for example, even for the
yeah,
same cereal. And most of the time, what makes it lighter too is then the soaking of the cereal, even if it's not
mhm,
necessary. But a soaked rice, for example, is much lighter, is much fluffier. And
yeah,
I like to think in the evening, I always have something standing there that reminds me, is anything to be soaked, like a little container? So I'm reminded, have I a bean to be soaked or a cereal to be soaked? And this is a good help too, mine.
yeah, yeah,
As the
yeah, yeah.
cereals come together, not with fruit. This is, for example, what I would ask this person in a
Mhm,
one-to-one exchange.
yeah,
What is combined with the cereal that it feels so heavy afterwards? Or most of the people there eat their porridge boiled with milk or with another kind of a milk, a vegetable milk, and they put fruit into this porridge. So I think this whole thing is really, for me, it's not very easily digestible. Yeah,
yeah.
I have tried out so many variations, and it's the pure cereal and in a little bit a spiced way, not with fruit together. The fruit a little bit in a distance from the cereal meal. No?
Mhm. That's a good point. Yes, yes. And then when you were saying the liquid, I thought that this person could have been. I thought that perhaps the person also could have been having liquid while they eat, because many people do drink while they eat, and that is also a problematic. It interferes with the digestive juices,
Yeah.
and saliva is the first digestive juice. So no drinking while you eat. Use your saliva wisely. Use it actively. Chew, and only swallow when the spoonful or the forkful is properly chewed, turned into liquid. Yeah.
Very good.
I think I have another question here. Let me see. Um, yes, how to engage the family for the miso taste was another of the questions here raised by a viewer. Um, because we talked about fermented food and miso as one of the fermented uh, foods or flavors that we can use, mainly in the soup. But it seems that the family it finds it a bit difficult, like an acquired taste. I mean, and she was wondering if this was an acquired taste. Could you say something about that, about miso, how to incorporate for the family meal?
Yeah, the main thing is you don't talk about what you're doing different. Yeah, you use your recipes that you used till the moment when you decided to add miso, and then you put some miso and you put very little portions first, or you mix it together with some oat cream, or you mix it together with some tahini. The miso is so important and so well doing for the whole digestion until the intestines, that it's necessary to play a trick, on your family. It's worthwhile, uh, because when you play the trick to hide it, they will get used to it. It shouldn't taste, the miso shouldn't be the taste. It's the same thing when you give a spicing with the soy sauce. You shouldn't have the taste of the soy sauce. It's the vegetables or the grains or the dish that should give its taste. Yeah, and yeah, these are for me the main factors. Not to talk about what you change, and not to be especially excited. Just go normal meal. You know, a little spoonful of miso will be able to be kept secret somehow. What would you say to this question, Alicia?
Yeah, incorporating it little by little, that's a good technique. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had this other question. Um, the season, we have been talking about springtime, we have been talking about autumn, and the seasons, they are seen outside of us in Mother Nature, and they are also within us. And the season of autumn, for example, you see the leaves fall, you see everything clarifying outside. And in a way, this customer has understood, or this viewer has understood, when the leaves are falling, we also should be shedding more, saying skin or hair, or, and I would say this is not necessarily so. We are not exactly like nature. We can take some inner, we can take some information, and we will have inner processes that follow. Like I'm leaving all this going out. I'm going towards me. I'm letting go outside, too many outside influences. I'm going towards my inside. This would be for me autumn, and it would not mean that I really feel that I'm shedding, you know, like the leaves are. But there can be coming a time when we have autumn and we have winter. We're getting to the end of winter, that the time is long, you know, where we have to shield us for the cold and for the wetness, and we're getting perhaps to some reserves within us. And when we use up our reserves, because we have perhaps the perfect lifestyle for autumn and winter, then at the end of winter, it can show. It can be that we lose a bit some hair, or we're feeling tired, or we're very pale, and all these effects. This can all happen, but we should not be dependent on what we see outside and think, oh, yes, now it's going, I'm going to, to die because it's autumn, winter, you know, like nature,
Yeah.
the visible nature.
Yeah, true. However, now that it got extremely cold all of a sudden, I did shed some hair, which I hadn't before. Maybe because actually my kidneys are my weakest point, but it doesn't mean that everybody will, it will happen to everybody. Yeah. But yes, and I guess when we talk about winter, we'll see more about this, about the effect of cold on the kidneys. And but for the time being, yeah, the dryness. And I've been also, another question was about showing a bit what for instance, the tea that I'm making these days to keep myself warm, using ginger root, this little. I mean, I'm not having too much left, but ginger root, everybody knows it. I mentioned a couple in the previous talks. I mentioned what's this?
Kurkuma,
This
no?
this root.
Um,
Licorice. I mentioned
Licorice.
licorice,
Okay.
yeah, which also has a good effect on lungs. And so, yeah, I use some chips. I chip the root itself onto my mix for the day. And I also, what I have been adding because of this cystitis thing is angelica. Angelica officinalis, which comes like this. It looks like a chip, I mean, a potato chip, because You can even,
Oh,
it's very crunchy. But then
I
I
want
put it
some.
in the water. Yeah, I put it. It's very tasty. I like it. I can't have it like this, but I put it in the water for the tea to make the tea. And once it is hydrated, I fish it out. Yeah, you see, this is hydrated, and I eat it. Instead of buying capsules of Angelica, Dong Quai, yeah, in Chinese it's called Dong Quai.
Yeah,
I go for the primary ingredient, and from there
yeah,
I do it. I use it. I treat myself.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
don't have to boil it. You just soak it a little bit in a tea or in a water, yeah?
Yes,
Mhm.
and I simmer it a little.
A
Yeah,
little simmering,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. And
Because
then with the lid.
there
Yeah.
comes the next or the last question is,
Mm.
how do I manage time? There is a lot of preparing, especially cooking time in macrobiotics. That's what the person heard. I mean, I am not very patient, so within 1 hour a meal has to be ready, and it is ready certainly sometimes in 3/4 of an hour. But what would you say about the cooking times? How much time has to be spent approximatively for a good macrobiotic meal?
Usually, what takes the longest is the grain, is the cereal. Yeah. So I would suggest cooking that in advance, the day that the person has more free time, because the grain won't go off, and you don't need to have it fresh, freshly cooked. You can cook the grains, boil them, be it brown rice, uh, buckwheat, or whichever grain you want, depending on the season, barley, yeah. Um, and then keep it in the fridge, perhaps, because it will keep for 5 days for sure. And even if it starts fermenting a little, don't throw it away, because that's the base for perhaps a
Piece
good
of
quality
bread.
bread. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can use it
yeah,
in bread. So
yeah,
don't throw it away. Fermentation is a great process. Nature is doing us a favor, already chewing into the things, and so that's we can have them pre-digested in a way, yeah,
yeah,
by
yeah,
these tiny little beings, the lactic fermentation, yeah.
yeah,
So I would say, because then the chopping up of vegetables and stirring them, or boiling them or something, or steaming them. That doesn't take long time. So have the grain already cooked. That
yeah.
will shorten the time, the preparation time.
Yeah,
That's
and
one
in any
suggestion.
case, any change takes a little bit more time than in regular times when you have been inaugurated. The inauguration phase is ended, and you are in everyday life. You know, a change takes most of the time a little bit more time and effort, but it's worth it because it's so healthy to also go into a change and be curious what comes along, what does it to you. So I think this is a good, the time we spend in the kitchen, we can rest, we can be creative, we can live just a very different way from the time when we sit on the computer, or we are working, or we are whatever work we do. It's so different if we have our head light and we just do the cooking or the preparing. It is a rest, it's like a renewing already in the preparation phase. So it takes the stress out. Don't think of stress. This is not a place where we. This is a place to be calm and be with yourself. That's what I would say. Yeah. And when you want to, if you want further information about all these very very interesting things, we have put our um, our
Yeah.
note, our websites here, so you can perhaps take a photo or you copy it. And we're very glad, Alicia and me, from very different perspectives. She's in autumn and winter time now, and I'm going towards the late spring time. We're very open to give you a little larger understanding of everything and of your own life to be light and upgoing.
That's great, Lina. Yes. And I guess we are ending our session, question and answer session today. Are you
Yeah,
keeping the timing? Because I
yeah,
haven't.
this is we are slowly coming to the end. We are hopefully having given some parts, some interesting ideas, and you try them. I'm quite sure we are in life. We are experimenting very often. It's never as it was the day before. Every getting up can be newly fresh, and every
That's
meal can be yeah, can surprise you how good it does to you to prepare it, or how good it is to think in advance of what's coming the next day and be a little bit prepared for the next day.
And that gives you also a different strength to face all these awful informations that sometimes we get from the outside world. So we need to shield ourselves and make us stronger. And good quality food actually does make you stronger. Imagine, I don't want to mention brands, but a Mac meal won't make a good quality body, and you will be prone to and there are films about this, it's recorded. Yeah, so yeah, if you invest in your cooking time, preparation time, it's the best thing you can do for yourself and for your beloved ones in the family. So
Yeah,
wish
very
you
good.
all the best.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah, and we are
thank you.
available for whatever needs to be discussed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we meet again for the next season, right, Alicia?
Really? Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
survive autumn, we'll meet in
Wearing
winter.
different clothing, please. Well, not for me in the next one yet. Not yet, but okay.
Yeah, we'll be going to summer and winter for our next health conversation. Yes, please.
Thank
So,
you,
thank
Lina.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. See
I
you.
think. See you. Bye bye.
Bye.